Hey guys, this is Jay Lethal, the Blend Machismo, and woo, the Nature Boy, and you're listening to the Potsy and Tino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world, the Road Dog Tino Gray, who will be joining me shortly, and the badass Rob Potsy Pochak. That's right, the Potsy and Tino Show. Our theme song, as always, is brought to you by the wrestling song from Adam's House Cat. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents and used with permission. On top of that, there is a lot of pro wrestling to talk about. We already have somebody in the Jolo. You'll see that I currently am solo. I wish that wasn't the case. Tino had some personal issues, not even his own personal issues, but because he is a person that is certified in helping other folks with their personal issues. Tino is not with us at the moment, but he will probably be with us shortly. He did message me, actually, we just got off the phone, and he said that he would be here as soon as he was able to get home. So for those on TikTok, you may just hear him because unfortunately I am speaking to you, just you and me. But with him, I anticipate that on StreamYard, where we do our YouTube show, youtube.com/Rob Pochak, we will have him here shortly. With that said, we normally start the show, and I might as well go ahead and start the show with a little segment we call What's Up With You. And for those out there on the TikTok network watching and trying to stay involved with everything that I'm going over, I'm wearing my Honorary Oosh shirt because, well, even though Jey Uso has left the bloodline, I am still with the Usos. Anyways, this week, you know what? I'm gonna get a little bit real, and the reason why I'm gonna do this is because I think that it's important that when people feel down, that they actually allow themselves to feel that way. And the reason why I say that is because I have been out of work since May 12th. And during the time that I've been out of work, and Joe, you've heard this story. You probably know a little bit about it, but those on TikTok probably don't know too much about it. I've been busting my butt trying to get a job. I have rewritten my resume once a month, attempting to just get companies to talk to me. And I think that a lot of people have this issue right now. And my expertise is in training and development of people management, and even process management at this point. And for whatever reason, it doesn't matter how many times I put my resume into places, I get the exact same message back. That exact same message, by the way, folks, and to everybody out there in TikTok, thank you for following. Please if you'd like. I know that there's a little goal of 50 lightning bolts. I'm not really worried about that or anything. What I'm worried about is those of us that have experience being able to talk in front of crowds, being able to get people to buy in to the concept and the device that you are trying to lead with, and for whatever reason, unable to find work. And I do know who Bryce Harper is as a baseball player. Yes, um, and I'll try to join in and take a look at the comments. Um, I know not to read all of the comments live on TikTok at this point. So thank you so much for those lightning bolts. Um, but going back to it, I worked 16 years at GameStop, which is a retail company, and my development was all based on getting other people ready to take. Apparently, we just hit a goal and an achievement. Sorry, I'm getting messages and everything too, so I apologize. I'm gonna bounce back here. Um, Thank you, Savbag, for giving us the 50 coins that we were asking for. Really appreciate it. If anybody wants to continue driving the number up, that would be awesome. Cold Alpha, thank you, Joe. You are awesome as always. Two big conventions coming up, just so you know. I'm getting ready to talk about those. But like I said, I've officially been out of work for 3.5 months, and it's. I want to tell the funny story here because I'm one of those people that truly tries to make everything funny. So here's how I'm going to start it. It's funny because I used to tell people all the time I would love to take 6 months off of actually doing real work to have the opportunity to be able to really focus on what I love and want to do as I would call it a profession, but what it's what I want to do, which is writing comic books. The unfortunate thing about that first month was that I told myself that first month that everything I did, I was going to have to really focus on trying to find myself a day job. I was going to have to focus on getting that real work, getting everything that I needed to do. And I really, really focused on it. And I sent out 250 applications on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on random job sites that I've never heard of before. You've probably never heard of them, but the big two were Indeed and LinkedIn. And 250 job applications, by the way, got me a total of five interviews. And in those 5 interviews, I was offered a job. And because of little things that happened in my background, and I say little things because I have passed them, I hope that North Carolina has passed them and whatever. I was offered one job out of those 5 opportunities. And out of those 5 opportunities, that one offer that I got rescinded on me. And I'm willing to sit here and talk about this live with everybody. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Joe said that below. Out of those 5 opportunities, 1 offer came in, and I would have been amazing at the job because my history is in training and development, creating, processing, delivering trainings, and doing all of that. And it was for a local government job, and unfortunately, because of something in my past, I've had a DUI. I was not able to get that job. And I hold nothing against them for it. I when it got to the point where they were like, "We want to offer you the job," I said, "Are you sure?" They said, "Yes." I said, Here's the deal. I've had a DUI in my past. I know that your job requires driver's license, everything else, clean driving record, whatever. And unfortunately, my driving record is not clean because of that." And they said, "We don't think it'll be an issue because you disclosed it." And they came back, and their HR department actually had them call me to tell me that I couldn't have the job. I'm not saying that they're in the wrong or anything else. I was glad I didn't just start doing, because they told me, "Hey, you can start tomorrow, and then we're going to run the background check. We're going to do all this." And they would have let me go after I'd started. And there would have been nothing I could do or anything else. So, like, to me, I was just like, I'll wait until you get the background check back, because I kind of think that you're going to tell me that we're not good here. And I feel like a lot of people are having that issue right now. I feel like a lot of people are having one little ding or one little nugget sitting there causing them to not be able to get the jobs that they want. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's right. I think there are a lot of great people. I think there are people that have made mistakes early on in their lives that have cleaned up their lives, made themselves great in other areas, that have opportunities, that should have opportunities abound to them. And for whatever reason, they don't find that. I think that if anybody out there do I think it'd be appropriate to set some time aside to put effort into that? Savvy, you pointed out, and actually I see you said yourself you wanted to do comic books. I am doing comic books, and in fact, that's the positive that comes from this whole thing. The Thank you for mentioning that, because I was so on like the negative side of things that I didn't really get into the positive side of things, which was, all my life I've been telling people I really wish I could take 6 months off and be able to do what I really wanted to do, which is make comic books. And I have. I've really been working on a ton of different comic books. And when I say a ton, I literally have 5 different comic books in the works now. And we're not talking about just one genre. We're not talking about 2 genres. Like, I have an all ages book that I am so proud of, that it brings tears to my eyes when I talk about. It's with a gentleman by the name of Michael Adams, who told me today he was actually asking me how to jump into and start doing his own live streaming. So he's going to start doing live streaming. Might not be able to do on TikTok, so he's probably going to start on YouTube, because that's where he can start his thing, because he doesn't have enough followers or whatever yet. He will, trust me. The guy is amazing. But we have a book called Zor coming out, and Zor is it's been officially announced. It's something that I am truly excited about. It's a story about a little girl who loses an heirloom from her mom who passed away. It's the last thing she has that reminds her of her mom, and her tears come to life to go on an adventure to find that stuff. And it's and yes, Savvy, I do think it's totally worth finding time to put the effort into it. And Dominic, I think that you're right. I do need to stay strong. I do need to do all that when it comes to trying to find a job and everything else. And trust me, today I put, I think, 15 applications in. 3.5 months later, putting another 15 applications in. Um, uh, but Zor, the plan right now is to at least launch through our publisher KeenSpot, based out of California. Um, but there's also the possibility that we will launch a crowdfunding program for it, which will include, stickers and prints and comics and whatever else to try to help really launch this product the way that it needs to. Because I'm going to tell you something, guys. Zor as a comic book, and while Tino is not here, I'm obviously taking up a bunch of the time talking about what I'm talking about. Um, but Zor is one of those stories that the easiest way to describe it is, if you like Pixar movies and you like Wizard of Oz, it's really like that. The 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 line, the phrase that's supposed to, the elevator pitch, if you will, that's supposed to really drive you to enjoy that story is sometimes the grandest stories happen in the tiniest of places. And it's just one of those things that I really think is going to drive people to it. Um, Everybody, there has not been a single person, and I mean this, not a single person that has read it that has not said that this story will bring tears to your eyes. Not a single person has not said it. Every single person has been buying into this, and it's literally about tears come to life. I absolutely love it. I got to see a new cover for it, and it's from a comic book partner of mine that has worked with me on tons of books. People out there who know me, if you're in the Raleigh Durham area, you know Billy Parker. Billy Parker is the proprietor of Side Quest gaming bar in Raleigh off of Morgan Street. An absolutely amazing place to go to. Uh, I know Shayna Baszler, the pro wrestler, has actually been out to it not too long ago and actually posted about it on their Instagram, which is freaking amazing. But on top of that, he has really tried to help get comic books launched that people don't necessarily know about. Kid Slapshot, he colored, and I think he did more than just coloring, but I think he colored 4 different books. Junior High Horrors, hell, the first 8 issues, he sat there and just like rocked out, crushed them, and put them, like inked. Well, finished the pencils, inked, colored, lettered, made sure that the book was done. When I edited it, I sat there, sent him all the corrections. He put all the corrections in. The book was perfect when it came out. Every single issue, every single book. dude has been freaking amazing. And I'm trying not to use foul language or anything else, even though I normally just sit there and drop F-bombs all the time. Whatever. I don't care. But freaking amazing. Been killing it every book that he's done. Wrote a great story called The D Ward, which he's actually thinking about doing a director's cut of, which will add more elements into the book that were not originally in it, so that way it really fills in the story better. He may do that. He may actually just sit there and do D Ward 2, which is all about a demonologist who figures out that demons are real and they killed his brother, and he goes after them and needs to put a stop to it, which is friggin' cool. It's just really cool stuff. Just reading some of the comments. Dominic, I want to thank you for telling me that I need to stay strong and everything. I truly believe it. I agree with you. Fact is that I need to utilize the time that I have while not working a day job to sit there and continue working on the things that I want to get done. So me talking about Billy's D Ward, me talking about Zor, that's great. There's other stuff coming up. I've got a comic book series that I'm working on called Stonkered, which is all about a pro wrestler at the end of his time, and what he does at the end of his career is not what you'd expect, because he gets sent up to space to stop or to start a revolt. And I'm pretty excited about that story. That's actually with my cohort, Eric Tent, who drew the last, I don't know, 14 junior high horrors books with me. And Michael Adams, who I was just talking about with Zor, actually just sent me a message saying that he's been working on a sketch for a possible cover that he's got planned for the second issue of Zor. But on top of that, I've got other books. Just have I ever considered streaming? Streaming what? I'm streaming right now. When you ask about gaming, Dom, yes, I actually was streaming my gaming just the other day. In fact, for those that don't know, my Twitch is Rob Potsy Podchak. So Rob ROB Potsy POTSY Podchak POTCHAK. Just like Rob Podchak here, Rob Potsy Podchak here. Here's the deal. Yes, I've been streaming. I've been playing games. I've been doing all that. Recently, I just played through all of the Sam Lake games. And Tino is actually getting ready to come onto the stream. Tino, you there?
Yeah.
So, my TikTok doesn't have you on it because obviously you're at home, but they could probably hear you.
Hope so.
Well, just make sure that you're speaking loudly enough that they can hear you. I was just talking about how I was streaming video games, including the Sam Lake games, which means I was streaming the Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and Control games that have been on the PlayStation and Xbox series, to make sure that I am ready for Alan Wake 2, which is all about a writer who doesn't realize that everything he's written has come true, and he has to fight all the demons and creations that have come from his writings.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
So
video game?
what's up?
That's a video game?
Yes. Yes. So the Alan Wake came out in like 2012, 2011, something like that. On Xbox, it was an Xbox exclusive. Then they did something called Alan Wake's American Nightmare, which was supposed to be like the prequel to the sequel. And then for whatever reason they never got around to the sequel. And now the creators of the series have actually talked about how the sequel they went through like 4 iterations, and every time they went through it, they didn't think that it was where they wanted it to be. So when they finally announced it last year to come out October 27th this year, they were like, you guys are going to be excited because this is really where this whole story should have went. But here's what's really cool about their entire series of games, because like I said, it wasn't just Alan Wake, right? It's Alan Wake. Then it was Quantum Break, which was an Xbox exclusive that had Sean Ashmore from X-Men, who played Iceman in that. It also had Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. Forget what his real name is, but Aidan Gillen. Aidan Gillen was. And then they came out with a game 4 years ago called Control, which was all about like a government agency that finds these weird elements that kind of open up passages to dark realms, kind of thing, right?
Right.
Well, here's what's really cool is that when I was going through all those games this time, I knew that Sam Lake, the guy that created the games, wrote the premise for all the games, and even was the main writer on all of them, flat out said they're all connected. So I had to find the connection in each one.
Okay.
Right? So when I'm playing Quantum Break, after playing the 2 Alan Wake games, at the very beginning of the game, there is a TV screen that you can turn on. And when you turn on the TV screen, there's a news article basically of FBI agents explaining that they're on the case trying to figure out this whole Alan Wake story. Okay?
Okay.
And that ends, and you play through the entire game, and you think that there's nothing else. But you keep finding all these little documents and whatever. And there's one freaking document in the whole game, Tino, that explains that something that happened in Alan Wake also affected this time travel universe that was Quantum Break. Okay?
Okay.
So you get done Quantum Break, and you think, hey, Quantum Break was good enough to where they should make a sequel to it because, like I said, Sean Ashmore, Aidan Gillen, the girl from what's that devil show on Netflix? Lucifer.
Okay.
Chloe from that is in that as well. Okay.
Okay.
So circa 2019, they come out with Control. I'm playing through the whole effing game, right? I mean, the whole game, dude. And I'm like, I haven't found a connection. And I know there's a connection because I read it. I know with like 30 minutes to go in the game, my character's walking and it tells me I can pick up a piece of like information, and I pick it up. And it is an FBI whole breakdown of Alan Wake's story, but things are blacked out on it except you see Alan Wake here, you see Alan Wake, you see and it's talking about the thing that he uses to be able to get through the game as a possible connection to the control universe, right? And I'm like, he really did figure out a way to connect every single one of these damn games. And you might not even recognize where the name Sam Lake really comes from, but the guy, Sam Lake, was the writer, director, and even the face of Max Payne.
Okay.
In the original video games.
Okay.
Dominic, yes. For those out there, hopefully everybody can hear Tino. I'm going to try to turn up the volume on my on. There we go. The volume on the iPad. Even though you can't see Tino, you should probably be able to hear him. Dom, yes. Alan Wake probably came out while you were working there because it was an Xbox 360 game, believe it or not. However, when you play it, like I played the Alan Wake remastered on PlayStation 5 because last month it was one of the free games on PlayStation Plus, and it doesn't look like an old game at all. It's one of the few games that the remastered version really did pay attention to what to make look better. But one of the things that really enhanced it was the perspective of using full motion video, and in fact all their games do. So Quantum Break absolutely did. Quantum Break, the thing that made Quantum Break awesome was the fact that when you would finish a certain perspective of it, Tino, and I talk about this all the time, I think I've talked about it on the show, is that when you finish a certain area of the game, it immediately says previously on Quantum Break. And when you and then they actually have 4 television episodes that are led based on the decisions that you made in the video game. So you get different versions of the episodes based on what decisions you made. But what's really cool about that is it feels, and I truly believe that they were completely designed everything by the people that did the show 24.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the way that they break the video down and everything looks like an episode of 24.
That's cool.
Yeah. I've talked enough about what's up with me, obviously. Thank you, Tino, for showing up. What's up with you?
And I saw Jolo said solo tonight.
Yeah, for a little while I was, obviously.
It wasn't what stays on the record. What is it? How long does it stay on the record? What was he asking there?
Oh, I mentioned my DUI earlier because I was talking about like trying to get and find work and everything else. So
what did I do? Oh, last weekend was Matthew. No, see, I've got a lot of time. I got a lot of shit rolling.
Yes,
Matthew's birthday was last Saturday, but it also was his first football game last Saturday. So he was kind of disappointed. He's like, I'm not going to get to do anything. So what we did, I think I talked about it last week on the show. We got a hotel. We rented 2 rooms. Him and 3 of his friends had one room. Nicole and I had the other room. They had pizza and candy and cookies, but then they decided, oh, we want to go to the Apex football game. All right, so we took him to the Apex football game, and then we chilled, picked him up, took him back. And by the time we got back, the pool was closed. I'm like, all right, look, it's like 11 o'clock. You guys don't leave this room. You got everything you need in this room. Do not leave this fucking room because I don't need you terrorizing the people in this hotel, running up and down halls and being dumbasses and exploring. So I really didn't get much sleep that night because, of course, my wife, every time she heard a door open, like, I think they're sneaking out. I'm like, they're not. I can still hear them. Oh, no, I think they're sneaking out. So I had to get up and go check. Nope, they're still in the room being stupid. And so I didn't get much sleep because I was in charge of going to make sure they weren't sneaking out the room. I had to be the enforcer.
You got to do better than that. You got to take a big thing of packing tape, the clear packing tape, and put like 4 times across the door. So if they try to walk out the door, it's going to be like snap, 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 and they just get hit with it.
I should have done that. That'd have been hilarious.
Or even better, you sit there and you make it so that it actually like pulls like little snap, like like the little like the little things that you snap at people on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Pop, pop, pop. And it's like, oh, we know they tried to leave the room now.
Put little mouse traps in front of the doors and then snap their toes.
Exactly. Put a bear trap out there, like
a bear trap. That's a little much. And so Saturday was his first game. Like, all right, we're gonna go to this game. It was an Apex, dude. It was fucking broiling outside. It was so hot. We were sitting on lawn chairs. I'm sitting there. I'm like, my balls are cooking. I can feel my balls heating up. So the girl gave like a bag to put in my crotch because my balls were cooking. And so they got to play their game, and it's Pop Warner, so it's Little League. So if you got to have so many people on a team, and if you don't, you have to forfeit because you don't have enough players, right? So we're sitting there. It's fucking 98 degrees. It was humid. It felt like it was like 110. It felt like Satan's
not like Nick. Nick, what's his face at 98 degrees?
No, it felt like Satan's asshole. So I was like, Jesus, it's so hot, right? And so this 2 kids on the team. One kid got a heat stroke. I mean, he was heat exhaustion, something, and the other one, I think he got hit and he had like a mild concussion. So I never, I don't want anything bad to happen to kids. I love kids, but when they said those 2 kids were hurt and they had to forfeit, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. I'm gonna go sit in some AC somewhere.
Thank you, Jesus.
You ever been so hot you can bring out your underwear and it's like everything on me was soaked. I was taking everything off and just doing this, just wringing the sweat out of it. I'm like, son of a bitch, and took a shower. And then we did. Then it was like, Matthew, hey, we want to take you out for your birthday. You need to go to a nice place you want to eat. Oh, McDonald's. No, bitch. Someplace nice.
McDonald's?
Yeah. He's like, because he didn't want to leave because it was hot. I don't blame him. He was hot. He was tired from being outside playing football. They didn't sleep the night before because of his birthday party. And so he was tired. He didn't feel like going anywhere. And I'm like, he's like, what about Chick-fil-A? No. So we finally settled on. We door dashed. What is it? City Barbecue.
Oh, so City Barbecue is great.
Yeah, but and I missed the pay-per-view. Did you watch the pay-per-view?
Are we talking about All In?
Yeah,
I did not.
All right, so we'll touch on that later.
I can talk about it.
Okay, so then I've been having, because I have, it's positional, it's vertigo. I get vertigo. So like if I lay on my right side, it fucking goes wonky. So I can't lay on and I have to do stuff something about the crystals in your ear needs to reset on. You gotta do all this shit. But it'd been bothering me since last week. And so I finally went to the doctor today. I mean, it was bad. So even when I was like standing up, like if I tilted my head back or like bend over, do anything, I would get dizzy. The vertigo would kick in. So I went in there. She said that we thought it might be a possibility that I might be able to either get off or lower blood pressure meds. And now that wasn't, it was the vertigo. I'm like, fuck. So she gave me little exercises to do, but then she also gave me this medicine to help with the nausea and the if I feel like I was going to throw up. She said, one of these will put you on your butt. She goes, but you're bigger than me. She said, one of these put me on butt. She said, you might have to take 2. It's like prescription Benadryl supposed to knock me out. So I took 1. I'm like, I got like a little sleepy, but so I think I need to take 2. But
wait. Yeah, so you just wait. This is prescription Benadryl.
Pretty much, it's something like that. It's supposed to knock you out and to help with the nausea. It's supposed to help with the nausea and all that. But one of the side effects, it knocks you out.
and one didn't do it.
So probably have the. She said.
So what's weird about that? Okay, what is vertigo? Vertigo is something that makes you want to lay down, right?
Well, it makes you before you fall down, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. it makes you want to. It makes you want to like get into the fetal position and lay down and everything. So does fucking Benadryl.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was the point. She didn't want me, because she didn't want me driving really to like get all these exercises done. She
Sure.
wants me to, so that's what she wants. She doesn't want me up and around and doing stuff. So she's like, "Bitch, go to sleep." That's the only way, because that's the only reason. That's the only way because I'm always up doing stuff. I'm like, I got to get this work done. I got to do this. She goes, "No, you need to fucking sit down." So that's what she gave me that thing that was gonna knock me out. But I guess I need to take 2 for it to have the desired effects that she wants.
I don't, I don't know about you. Like the other night, you messaged me at like 1:00 in the morning, and I was like, "What the fuck is he still doing up?" Right? Because I'm like Tino's never up at 1:00 in the morning. Like I just don't expect him to be up. Whatever. But I'm always up at 1 in the morning. Like I watched the latest Justified. Like the final episode happened on Tuesday, and I'll tell you, I got home from where I was, and I turned on FX, and I watched it, and I was pissed off because I saw like the surprise ending.
Oh, before you watch the whole show?
Yes. Now, granted, it made the whole show worth everything.
But you want to watch it and to see the ending.
So I watched it the next day when it was on Hulu with no commercials. And as much as I loved that surprise ending, which I'm not going to talk about, but I'm going to say if you like Justified, you're going to absolutely love the surprise ending.
I've never even watched it before.
Dude, it's Timothy Olyphant.
I don't even know what it is.
And it's Timothy Olyphant as a U.S. Marshal that goes back to his hometown for the first 7 seasons. And then they brought it back like, I don't know, 8-9 years later. And he got sucked into a case in Detroit where he had to take down the same bad guy that was in Logan. Okay. And Boyd Holbrook basically is the bad guy in it. But they hit you with a surprise ending.
Okay.
And the surprise ending
was that the season finale or the series finale?
Well, see, that's just it. You know that it's the season finale, but originally the series finale was 7 years ago or whatever, right?
Gotcha.
So this was brought back because it was a self-contained tale written by the same main writer, and then and Timothy Olyphant actually called up and just wanted to have a conversation with his friend, the producer and showrunner of like the first Justified, and he called him up and he goes, "Hey, have you read this thing called City Primeval? Do you think we could turn that into a Raylan Givens story?" And before you know it, it's like and the only thing that hung it up at all was the fact that the rights were actually owned by someone else.
Right.
So FX didn't own the rights, and they had to go buy the rights. And as soon as they had it, it was like, Raylan Givens is coming back, right? But he's 10 years older. He's a different guy at this point. The whole thing it boggled my mind at how different it was, right? At the same time, it was still him. But none of the other characters, none of there was only one character up until the last episode that you would have recognized.
Got it.
And the whole reason why was because he was the guy that Rayland had to go to Detroit during the first series, went up there. Now, what was really cool about the series, you might not know these actors' names, but Carla Gugino.
That name sounds familiar.
She should sound very familiar. She was in Sin City. She was actually in the first Justified series in one episode, but she also played the same exact character that she was in Justified in an ABC series in like 2003.
Okay.
What makes that important is that these movies and shows from Elmore, like I was talking about, whatever his last name is, I don't even know. He did the movie with Jennifer Lopez and I think George Clooney called no, it was shit. Anyways, they did a movie, and one of the characters from the movie ended up showing up in this show, this new version, and he was played by the same actor.
Oh, that's cool. So they crossed.
But what was funny was but like her character was the Carla Cugino character, right? But even Carla Cugino ended up showing up in the original Justified. So like they still tried to piece it all together any way that they could, you know, like it was like, okay, obviously we can't get Jennifer Lopez to do it, but we and by the way, I think it was Catherine Zeta-Jones. I think it was out of time or whatever that movie was with her and like George Clooney. Anyways,
and I finished Gifted, the Gifted.
The X-Men thing?
Yeah, I finished that.
And I found X-Men one.
Huh?
The fake X-Men one?
Yeah, it was on Fox. The group, The Gift, is all about this group they called the Undergrounds. They were mutants trying to, help other mutants, save mutants. And they were they were formed by the X-Men, like, here, we're going away, but we want you to, carry on doing this. And so I was sitting there and I was watching it because it only lasted 2 seasons. So I was watching the last episode today and they were wrapping everything up. And some of it's like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I've been hanging around Rob too long. So I was like, I feel myself tearing up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, that's not being around Rob too long. That's all of a sudden realizing you got feelings. But
like, why am I crying? What the fuck am I crying about? It's the same thing about fucking our show from last Hills. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? There's something one of those. I was like, oh.
Wait, you started tearing up from Heels?
I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. Because I think, I know what it was it's been out a week, so you guys should have watched it by now. Where a dude was feeling all self-conscious because Ace is back, and he was hanging around an old girl, and he was feeling all self-conscious, and she came back, and she goes, "I really like you a lot," and I'm like, "Oh, that was sweet," because I think she could tell that he was kind of like, and that did get to him, like, oh.
You're talking about Bobby, where she sits there and he goes, is there anything I need to worry about? And she goes, not with Ace. And he's like,
she was leaving, but then she came back and she gave him a big ass kiss.
Yeah, that hits you, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what you know what the worst part of Heels is?
What's that?
I'm gonna straight up tell you what the worst part of Heels is listening to Stephen Amell try to do a Southern accent. That is the worst part of that entire show. Everything else about that show, I buy 100%, dude. But I do not buy him sitting there going, I'm going to do blah, 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 what I got to do. And it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not, Arrow. It's not the way it works for you. You're going to grab that bow and arrow at some point. You're going to hit somebody with it. That's what I'm thinking. No, but seriously, like.
No, Oliver Queen. You're not.
Exactly. Who are you trying to fool, Oliver Queen?
You don't go home to your rich mama and daddy.
You know you failed this city. You know, like, but seriously, that is the worst. And I love
go get Diggle, bitch. Go get Diggle.
And I love Stephen Amell.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when you hear Chris Bauer in that show with his bald, his skullet like Hulk Hogan,
Hulk Hogan. He's
and
got the mustache, everything.
with that giant ass mustache, and he's like,
shit in his pants.
I tell you right now, we're gonna like I got some ideas for this. Like I believe him.
That part got me too. Where the little dude, he was all pissed off, and then he was thinking like, goes, "Well, this is going to be the show of me and this other dude," and I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with me in this episode?" I'm like, "Dude, that was nice too." And then but I popped, and he goes, that made me pop. I'm like, "Oh man, he made Dio feel better." Oh,
so that's just it. Like the whole thing with heels is like I want to really buy into it, and here's what makes it even funnier: is Charlie Gully, who is the Florida dystopian wrestling guy. Who,
you say he's a runner?
Who I told you is the showrunner, and he wrote the first episode of the season. By the way, he's the head writer of it. He has none of that accent, not a single bit of it.
Well, he's from Florida though.
Oh,
that's he's not from Georgia like the other people.
Oh no. That's the whole thing. Like I'm like, come on, bro, really? Like Charlie Gully just hits you in the jaw. I love him. I love his character.
Did you see who that was in the background? So and when they went down to wrestle, in dystopia.
One
of the wrestlers, in dystopia. One of the wrestlers in the background. Now I've lost her damn name. It's the octopus. What's his name? The black dude, the wrestler. His nickname's the Octopus. He was Jay Lethal's friend.
I don't know.
It's his wife, Jordan Grace. Jordan
okay.
Grace was in the background in the dystopia ring. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are shocked to see AJ Lee there.
I told you I didn't recognize her at first. It took me a minute because she doesn't look like AJ, and I understand she's older and blah blah blah. What gave her away? She still got that fucking 6-pack. And I told you when she wore the knee-high Converses, and then she did the skip around the ring. Okay, that's AJ. But like her face, I'm not saying she's just older. She didn't look the same.
Right. I mean, she's like a woman that's aged a little bit. And nothing wrong with that.
No. She's still right.
But like I wonder how much of her character is built on real life. Where she's sitting there going, "Hey, do you have any ibuprofen?" And she's like, "Yeah, how many do you need?" And she's like, 6. And she's like, "Here, let me go ahead." And she goes, "Here, go ahead and take some of them now and take some of them later." And she goes, "No, I'll take them."
You're off now.
Might upset my stomach, but at least I'll get through the match. And it's like, wow, okay. But that's really what I believe, and I mean, her character.
I think she got out in time before she had all those. Wouldn't you say? Because I think when she got out, she was still pretty healthy. I mean, I don't know. She might have had bad knees and bad hips, but I don't think she wrestled long enough. Like CM Punk, I'm sure has got that shit going on. Somebody like probably Beth Phoenix, probably. But I'm trying to remember, how long did AJ really wrestle?
I don't know. And you might be right. I mean, for those out there watching on both shows, like obviously we're on our YouTube channel, but we're also on TikTok right now. She didn't wrestle as long as most people would think. She probably wrestled for about 7 years. But during that 7 years, you have to think. I mean, she put her body on the line a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyways, I'm done pretty much talking about what's up with me.
Me too.
So if you want to jump in this week, folks, I was telling Tino we kind of wanted to do a little bit different format.
I think this will make it more tidy.
Yeah, we've been doing this show for 7 years. 9.
7, yeah.
I literally looked it up the other day, and I think it was 9 years we've been doing this. I think we've been doing this since 2015, 2014, something like that. But our show has always been, what's up with you? And let's talk about each show individually. Well, I said to Tino earlier today that the two of us have basically been talking about, like, if we start talking about WWE wrestling, we completely bounce back and forth off of the different shows anyway. So why not just talk about either AEW wrestling or WWE wrestling and actually just give those moments? So, Tino, which one would you like to start with?
I think because AEW just had a pay-per-view, maybe we should do that last.
Okay,
Start off with WWE.
we can do that.
And
So-
what I want to start off with is obviously we lost not only Terry Funk, but we lost Bray.
Did we
And-
talk about that last week at all?
Yes.
Yes, we did. We did.
But you were all choked up.
Did on Raw as well. So
yeah, but the tribute, I don't think. So I thought that they were going to go all like when Eddie passed. I thought they did the whole show about it, and I think they did a good job with the SmackDown. Not as Raw, not so much. I think because SmackDown it was still fresh, but SmackDown was the tribute show. I think their tribute show to Bray Wyatt, and I think it was done well.
Well, let me ask you. So I absolutely agree. When they opened up SmackDown and Jay Brandon 95, I do want to say that your prediction of Seth winning and then Damian cashing in at Payback is an interesting one. So we may get to that before the end of the show. But when we talk about SmackDown specifically,
we pull up the Payback.
Apparently canceled all plans about what was originally going to be the program. And when they opened the program, two things jumped out at me, Tino. And that
Bray,
was
not Bray, damn it, there I went. Not Bray, Braun and Eric
Rowan and Eric Rowan both being live standing next to Triple H. And there have been multiple pictures where when they showed the chair and they were playing that Firefly song that Bray Wyatt would come out to, they were both head to head, and you could see, like, you couldn't see tears, but you could definitely see where they were hurt by that moment. But it was such a powerful moment.
And I think that was perfect the way they did it. But what if they'd have had that same thing, the Bray Wyatt music playing, and have Eric and Braun bring out the rocking chair, or even come up with lanterns and stand by the rocking chair, kind of like a tribute? Or do you think they did it the way they did it was good? Either way, I like the way they did it, but do you think they should have maybe had Braun and Eric do something? Because they're the ones that work with them the most.
I was almost hoping that during the main event, which was LA Knight versus Finn Balor, that they were going to have the lights go out, everybody turn on their Fireflies, which is their lights on their phone, and then have Eric Rowan cost Finn Balor the match. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. It didn't. They just let the match go out. And I think a lot of that is that Eric Rowan is not under contract.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt is injured. We got a video package from Alexa Bliss that was not on SmackDown, that was all about how she actually wanted to be there, but they could not make the travel arrangements work with as small of a time frame as they had to do it. So I mean, I think they did the best they could with what they had. And surprisingly, I think the best moments of the Bray Wyatt thing, not only were the video package, because WWE is the greatest video package company ever.
Oh God.
Like when I die, Tino, do whatever you can, pay whatever you have to get the WWE to put a video together for me. Okay, please please. And like because they are the absolute best in terms of that stuff. But I popped myself with that. But
you're still giggling.
I am. I can't stop.
Was that all out or all in this past weekend?
It's all out.
I get them confused. Okay.
It's all out this week. All in
this past
weekend.
Last
all
weekend.
out is next weekend. And I want to talk about that a little bit, but we'll talk about that when we get to AEW.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull the results. That's all.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I like to, since we're talking about the tributes and all that stuff, I like that LA Knight came out, and that tribute he did because he was the last person to have a match with Bray Wyatt. I like that he came out. He goes, "I'm not going to pretend like me and Bray were best friends." He said, "But Bray was preparing me," and he goes, and he goes, I like the fireflies are lit up. And he said, I like to think that I did good today until I saw the pictures of the family. And I thought it was very, very classy the way they did. And then at the end of his promo where he did the tribute, he goes, and he was talking to Miz. He said, "Miz, a very wise man once told me, when you see me coming," and he got real close, run. And there's something on TikTok, and I don't know if you sent it or if I sent it to you, or I saw it on TikTok. They had Bray at the top. There was a split screen, Bray and LA Knight, and he was like, if you see me coming, and they both said run at the same time and got in the camera. It was fucking phenomenal. I'm going
to tell you, the way that LA Knight said it, it sounded like him. It resonated, like and
even the eyes in the camera. I mean, it was like, the fuck. It was like Bray.
And I told you last week, man, like this one hit me.
Yeah.
Dude's younger than us. Dude's a lot younger than us. I mean, like he was 8 years younger than us, than me, and like, I'm not gonna say how old you are, but 8 years younger than me, like that. And this weekend, I didn't say it during the whole thing, was Pokemon Go Fest, which might not mean anything to anybody watching the show or anything, but it means something to me because I've been playing Pokemon Go for the 9 years it's been available, right? My brother-in-law Shane and I, the day that it came out, by the way, that was about 6 months after I got told by my doctor, "Hey, we fixed your heart. Fucking go walk." Right? So I started walking. I started doing all that. And for the past 2 weeks now, I've literally been walking at least 25 minutes on my treadmill, getting 1.5 miles in a day on the treadmill regardless. And now I've added a 7-pound weight as I do it. So I just wear the weight around my neck as I sit there and I walk on it, which probably isn't good for my back, but but I'm just going to say that I do it. But my buddy Justin died at 32 years old in August of last year because of stage 4 colon cancer. And anytime I hear somebody before the age of 40, you always joke that 40 is the over the hill mark, right? Anybody under that age you hear pass away, I don't even know how to handle it. So when you were, wondering why I was so like choked up and everything last week because of Bray Wyatt, a lot of it had to do with because I knew Saturday and Sunday was Pokemon Go Fest, and Justin was a huge Pokemon Go player, and dude, I'm gonna say it here, and it's partly because I don't think my family's ever gonna watch these videos or anything, but I don't get close to a lot of people Like, and when I say close, I don't get really close to a lot of people. And I've for those watching, I've done everything I can to get really close to Tino. Like as a person, I let him in on everything going on with me, whether or not he wants to hear it or not. Like, and half the time he does not want to hear it. But he knows more about me than almost anybody else in the world. And I wouldn't even say Tino's my best friend. I would say Shane's my best friend, my brother-in-law.
So why you get pissed when I say Paul's my best friend? You sit there, Shane's my best friend, but I'll say Paul's my best friend. Hey, wait.
I think you just answered your own question there.
Gotcha.
I think sometimes you sit there and you know that you can't even say stuff to your best friend, so you sit there and say it to the person that you hang out with the most often out of it.
This is true.
So and okay, truly and honestly, at this point in our lives, we may call another person our best friend, but Tino, seriously, you are probably my best friend, and I think that I am probably your best friend based on how much time we spend together, how much time we talk to each other, and everything else. Like,
dude, I think I talk to you. I don't, like I said, I don't talk to him every day. I talk to you just about every day.
That's
whether it's texting, whether it's sending a TikTok. Yeah.
So we literally and folks, I apologize for breaking the episode down in such a weird way, but I mean we literally are in each other's lives on a daily basis. You know, and Shane and I aren't, and Paul and you, but yet you and I are. But you know, it's almost like, you know, the rite of passage. Hey, he's my best friend because he's been my best friend. You can't take that spot. You know what I mean? It's not my spot. It's not my this spot. It's
my liver spot.
But anyway, where was I going with that?
You don't let a whole lot of people in.
But Justin and I, before he passed away, I would talk to him on a weekly basis. And you know, last year I lost two really, really close people to me. I lost Chris Callahan, and I lost Justin Davidson. And I lost them both within like 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was quick. I was like, damn.
And Chris was like 2 days after his birthday.
Because Chris passed first, right? And then we had your other buddy on the show.
We had Mark on the show, yeah.
And then, it didn't seem like a few weeks later you were telling me about that Justin. But I'm like, man.
Yeah, now Justin and Chris both had birthdays the same week, and I think that's so mind-boggling and so. But anyway, this past weekend was Pokemon Go Fest, so I'm sitting there playing Pokemon Go, and of course I go to the place that I know is the biggest place to get all the stuff I need for Pokemon, which just happens to also be the same park that I helped fund a tree being planted in Justin's honor. And I went, I looked at the tree, I took a picture of it and everything, took a picture of myself with the tree, because obviously, you know, I can't take a picture with me and Justin. And someone I knew walked up and they were like, "Oh, you trying to get one of the new Pokemon?" And I'm like, I am, but this tree was planted, you know, tell the whole story. This old man walks up. Don't know him from anybody. And he just wants to have a conversation. And we proceed to have a 20-minute conversation about whatever he wants to talk about.
That's usually how that goes.
And the other person who walked up to talk to me about Pokemon and me, and I'm like, "Well, I'm just here to see my friend." And he's like, "Oh, well, your friend's right here." I'm like, "No, my friend is actually the tree." You know, like, And then we just sat there and talked. And I let him sit there and say everything he needed to and everything else. And he got everything out. And then I to the young lady who was the person that I knew standing that walked up and also had to listen to him for 20 minutes. I was like, hey, really good seeing you. I hope everything's okay. Tomorrow there's more Pokemon stuff, so if you want, just sit there and send me the like requests or whatever. And then we had to like tell the old man that we needed to go, and I felt bad, but I think we made that guy's day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but every time I go to that park, I have to stop by that tree, and every time I do it, it's because kind of like with you, where I talk to you about everything. I would ask Justin every week because I would talk to him on a weekly basis, and like his wife actually sent me a card saying, "I can't believe how much you actually did for us and everything," and I couldn't believe it. I would just call him and talk to him, and every week I would ask him questions, Tino, that you can't ask regular people. And what I mean by that is I would ask him things like, what does it feel like knowing that you're going to expire?
Mm.
And the reason why I bring this up while we're talking about Bray Wyatt, I don't think uh, the Terry Funk thing was nearly as good as the Bray Wyatt one.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he didn't have as much history with the WWE.
Yeah.
But asking Justin about that stuff and then hearing some of the promos that you listen to from Bray Wyatt, where he's like, I am inevitable. I am always. I am what you least expect. Those types of phrases that like you would hear from Wyndham Rotunda as he would explain all that stuff. Talking to Justin, I would just be like, what does it feel like knowing that? And he's like, you just accept it. You just know it's going to happen. You don't know when. And this is really important. I think that a lot of people don't realize this because a lot of people never want to say goodbye, right? They never want to say, I'm done. But the most important thing Justin, I think, taught me was saying, do everything you can with the time that you got. And
Yep.
and I think it's important that I say this now because I wanted to talk about it last week because I think last week was actually the anniversary of his passing. But it made more sense to talk about Bray Wyatt passing, Terry Funk passing last week. This week, it's important to tie them together. But it was amazing to listen to someone so young sit there and told me that he felt like he did everything he could with his life. He told me that he was happy that he got married. He was happy he found the right person. He was happy that he had friends like me, which I don't know how that's possible. I mean, you go through that on a weekly basis. You're like, fuck, get off the phone with me. But and do you want to know how I met him? Can I tell you that? Can I tell you the story?
Yeah. How'd you meet him?
So I had gotten told that I was taking over the Crabtree Valley Mall store when I worked at GameStop, right? And Justin, who kind of still looked sickly, he had just gotten over his chemotherapy, walked into the store and he goes, "Hey, I'm Justin. I just moved here from Hickory, and I got told that when I'm healthy enough to come back, that I could come start working for you." And this is at the time at Crabtree when I took over that everybody was quitting on me because they were like, "This guy's an asshole because he wants to work us and he's going to make us work, right?" And I was like, "Justin, I'll work you whatever you are capable of working, but you gotta tell me if it's too much, whatever." And he's like, "It won't be too much, don't worry." First day, he works for like 4 hours. He comes back to me, he goes, "All right, I might not need a 4 hour shift." Within 6 months of working for me, my district manager was like, "We want to move Justin to another store so he can be a key holder." And I'm like, no, he's not ready yet, blah, blah, blah. I said, "Let him be a key holder here where I get to have 3 key holders at Crabtree because I fucking need the people," right?
Right.
Got him moved up the key holder at my store. Then all of a sudden, like, Justin started going, "Hey, I think I'm ready to be an assistant manager. Like, how do I get that?" And I'm like, "Well, let me talk to the district manager. Let's see if we can get you bumped up." And I was trying to get him bumped up at my store, right? I'm like, let's get him bumped up here because Justin's busting his ass and he's really good at the job. And
Right.
no, they moved him over to another store, and and then within like 3 months after that, he was a store manager.
Wow.
And he even had a really bad visit with the regional manager where the regional manager was like, "You'll never be a store manager working for me," kind of thing. And then 3 months later, she ended up sitting there saying, "I don't know what this guy did to turn around, but yeah, let's bump him up," and he did that for like 4.5 years. He lived in Morrisville, by the way, Morrisville, North Carolina, which is about 20 minutes, 25 minutes from Durham, where I live. It's about 15 minutes from where you live.
Yeah.
But they made him drive to Henderson to work his store. So Henderson was his store, right? And the whole reason why was because guess who was running Morrisville at the time?
You.
So of course they make me feel like the asshole because I won't give away my store.
Wow.
Because Henderson's only 20 minutes away from me. And I'm like, I'm not getting, like, I love Justin. Don't get me wrong. But you didn't have to make him take Henderson. You could have given him one of the Durham stores, one of the Raleigh stores, like, whatever. You're sitting there trying to tell me it's my, like, but that was like one conversation. The truth is that they never had any intentions of moving me out of Morrisville. They really thought that I would get promoted to district manager at some point. Never happened. But they thought I'd get promoted and they'd move Justin back to Morrisville at some point, and that just never occurred. Now they did end up moving Justin to Cary, so he was closer to home. But when they moved him to Cary, that was when his cancer picked back up again. Because the whole time I knew him, so like 5.5 years, the whole time I knew him, Tino, he had stage 4 colon cancer.
Hmm.
Like normally they tell you you got 6 months.
Yeah.
They told him he had 6 months. He went 5.5 years.
Wow.
So, anyways, here's one to Justin because I love that motherfucker. And even crazier is he's got a twin brother. So, anyways, the Bray Wyatt tribute. The Terry Funk tribute I thought was kind of lacking. I'm not going to lie. I do feel like it was because Terry Funk really didn't have a huge presence in the WWE.
Yeah. I think they did a better job on Monday because Cody was there and he was able to tell a story because Dusty, worked
Well,
with
he
Jerry.
he did the story on Friday because they did
Was it
the
Friday he did it?
yeah
My
because
mistake. It was Friday. Okay.
they did the tag team Terry
Uh,
Hard
yeah,
match,
that's right. That's right. You're right.
which didn't end up really being a hardcore match,
Yeah.
but but listening to him tell the story about the egg sucking dog and all that stuff, um, yeah, that was nice, but it really like I would have I would have liked to, and maybe their YouTube channel did something better. You know what I really did like though about the WWE and Bray Wyatt tribute was all the QR codes.
Yeah, and you can actually
If you would
punch it and it would take
scan
you
those
to YouTube.
QR codes, it would pull up different things that he did during. So it really enhanced how much because and then on top of that, it also made you realize this is one of the things that they utilized with Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
And I loved that, dude. I thought that was, in fact, if I were them going forward, anytime you're doing a tribute, it doesn't matter if it's passed away, it doesn't matter if they're retiring, whatever the case is, fucking put up those QR codes because it really did enhance that experience. I mean,
That's what. Yeah, I liked it. I loved it too. It was cool.
and
That's
I
a good choice.
and last week we didn't get to talk about that because they hadn't shown it yet.
Yep.
So
We were wondering what they were going to do, and they did good.
So to end SmackDown, you had LA Knight actually beat Finn Balor clean in the ring.
And I think it made sense. It didn't hurt Finn. And, LA Knight, was the last person to face Bray. He did that tribute to Bray. I think it was a nice touch. It didn't hurt. I don't think it hurt Finn.
I
didn't miss the
don't
storyline.
hurt Finn because I don't think anybody looks at it as this is really part of your win-loss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not part of the storyline.
Especially since nobody else from the Judgment Day came down. Right?
Right.
It would have been interesting if it was the Demon. That might have made a little bit more sense because then you're doing that whole thing. I also was a little shocked, although again, I think this might have been like hard TV versus travel time trying to get the Undertaker there.
Yeah.
Maybe to sit there and actually say this is what I told Bray before the last time I saw him. Because that kind of seemed like an untold storyline that just never got finished. But otherwise, everything they did, I thought it was great. Didn't think that the Rey Mysterio versus what's his face match needed to happen at all. Made a lot of people sit there and say that like when certain people passed away, they got entire episode tributes specifically to them, and I thought this really was that. Except for the fact, because I mean, even when the show ended and LA Knight won, they turned the lights off. Everybody put their camera lights on, and then they just had the chair. And I thought that, I was blown away by it. I thought that Triple H really did something special while still trying to prepare for Payback a week later.
Yeah.
When it came to Raw, we got more of the tribute, though not the beginning of the episode tribute or anything else, because this would have been a good time to actually see people like Alexa Bliss and them show up to pay their tribute, but they didn't.
I think the part that got me
6 months pregnant at this point, so I don't know if I would have brought her out anyway.
I think, and then again, this is hanging around you too long that made me miss the guy. At the end, when Becky won her match, She went through the whole show. She went through the whole match. She won, and she was sitting on, I was on a crate, or she was sitting on something after she beat Blondie,
Zoe.
Zoe. She took off her Bray Wyatt band and sat there and broke down. I mean, it really broke down at the end. And that's when it hits you like, damn.
Now, while we're at it, I do want to go ahead and say that the WWE did something super classy by saying that all Bray Wyatt merchandise that was purchased after his passing, and I don't know if it's still going on, but I know that it was at least through the weekend. All of the Bray Wyatt merchandise that was purchased was all of the proceeds were going directly to Wyndham Rotunda.
Yeah.
So JoJo and the kids, absolutely. And I don't remember them ever doing something like that. And it really reminded me of a time when that business was all about the families. And I thought that was a super, because we're only like 3 weeks away from them being part of Endeavor completely. And we don't know whether or not the overall big branching company is going to allow for stuff like that going forward. But, in this moment, they did the right thing again, Obviously we didn't see JoJo, we didn't see Alexa Bliss, we didn't see Bo Dallas or anybody like that. Probably because with I said Alexa Bliss, but with JoJo and Bo Dallas, they're probably, I mean, they're in mourning. They probably didn't want to leave their families. They probably didn't want to leave their kids. They probably didn't want to leave what the world that just got rocked to sit there and show up on TV.
Yeah.
There's some people like Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes would show up if Dusty passed away on Sunday night. Cody would show up on Monday, and he'd be like, I'm here because Dusty wanted me to be here. Now, granted, he would take Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off to bury Dusty, but and there are other, like JoJo probably can't do that because she's got to watch the kids.
Yeah.
She had 2 babies at home.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound hurtful or anything else. I'm actually trying to sound like I understand why they could not be there. I was surprised and pleasantly shocked to see Eric Rowan, but I would have liked to have seen him actually participate in something that night.
But like you said, he's probably not under contract, so that might be why.
Talking about a contract, you never know. Monday, we kind of got back to WWE basics, though. And lots of stuff prepped us for Saturday's pay-per-view live event. Tino, and anything specific that you saw? Like I watched all of it. I liked the Sami Zayn match to start the night against Damian Priest. The bobblehead coming out and causing more trouble with Damian Priest, I think it's a red herring. I've been telling you, I think that he's going to be the reason why Finn Balor gets kicked out of Judgment Day. I did like Kevin Owens showing up at the end, so I really felt like the camera crew messed it up.
How?
Did you say how?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what happened.
So the match ended, and Priest knocked down JD McDonough and then bounced out of the ring. And then by the time McDonough got up, Kevin Owens was in the ring, and
Yeah.
Kevin Owens gave him a stunner, which caused him to get backed up into the corner, which caused Sami Zayn to give him the haluva kick, which seemed a little backwards. Like, I would have given him the haluva kick, which would have led into a stunner, but that's just me because that just makes more sense.
No, so once you kick him, he's down. I think they did it right.
Well, but he got up in the corner, walked his way into the middle of the ring, then got kicked, got stunnered, fell back into the corner, then got haluva kicked. Like I said, getting up in the corner, getting a haluva kick, and then taking like 3 stumbles out and getting stunned seems like a better ending. I don't know. Just my thing. Viking Raiders versus the New Day. At ringside, we had Riddle, and we had Mick Riddle.
Mick Riddle.
The thing I loved about this was before the match, when Matt Riddle was sitting there trying to talk to Drew McIntyre, and it wasn't even the fact that he gave him the picture that showed Drew McIntyre wearing the new outfit, but it was when Matt Riddle sat there and said, we should sit ringside. And McIntyre said, yeah, that's a good idea because I'd really like to, take a look at those, those jerks or whatever. And Matt Riddle's like, yeah, the New Day. And he's like, no, not the New Day. The Viking Raiders. and that tripped me up because I really was not expecting him to sit there and go, yeah, the New Day. But what ended up happening, Tino?
The Viking Raiders came out and threw one of the New Day into Drew, and Drew got up and got mad at him, picked up a chair and hit him in the face with a chair.
And then, after the match was over, Kofi Kingston kept looking at Drew like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, it was an accident. And then he picks up a chair and he throws it across the ring again.
Oh man. I'm waiting to see. I think Drew's about to turn heel. I'm worried that Drew's turn heel.
I'm hoping. Because I agree with you. I think that's the proper move to do. We got Chad Gable versus Ludwig, which I thought was going to be a clean victory for Chad, and then it wasn't.
No.
And I don't know what to think of that. What's going on?
Is there one more? That was going home show.
Yeah.
I think it's the 5-year-old me theory. He lost and got jacked and got fucked over on the go home show, which that's going to lead him to win on Saturday.
But he didn't lose to Gunther, and Gunther wasn't the one standing over him at the end.
But Gunther came in and jumped him at the end, and jumped the whole.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, we're literally like 10 days away from Gunther owning the record.
Well, is it 10 days from what now, or 10 days from?
Like 10 days from now. Yeah, he's got to make it to like 2 Mondays with that belt. So I think they're going to figure out a way to keep that belt off of him at Payback. And then I think Chad Gable's going to beat him for that Intercontinental belt. Even though I already told everybody the best way to run this would have been to have Gunther go after Seth Rollins, take Seth Rollins' belt, and then relinquish the Intercontinental belt. which isn't gonna like now. It doesn't make sense. Gunter's actually lost on the main roster at this point. It doesn't make sense anymore. So,
Well,
now,
he lost by count out. That's the way he's looking at it. He's like, nobody's pinned me. Nobody submitted me. Nah,
yeah,
you still lost. You still got an L in the books.
you still lost. You got the L. Yep. This was
All
if this was AEW, it says your record's like 78-1. Goldberg, thank you. Uh,
So I kind of think
what else happened?
I think that's all this. Oh, Raquel's gonna face. Raquel came out and put the champ in her place.
Yeah.
That match is set for Saturday.
Yep. We know who's win that.
Huh?
We know who's going to win that. Mommy's going to win.
You think?
Oh yes, Mommy's winning.
Yeah. You don't think Raquel's gonna do it?
What are you saying, Tino? What are you saying?
I'm saying Raquel. I mean, Raquel's the only. If it's not Raquel, I don't see anybody else.
What are you saying? You saying?
What the fuck did I say? I said Raquel.
All right. So we all.
Because I don't think there's nobody else in that roster to make me believe like Raquel. You know what I mean? That can handle. That can handle it. The lip thing, yeah, but that was a fluke. I knew little ass Zelina wasn't going to beat her. The only people that I would think on right now on the Raw roster,
sure,
would be obviously Becky Lynch. But even if it wasn't Becky, even take Becky out, the three top I have are going to be Raquel,
right?
Doudrop,
okay. Ooh, Doudrop's a good one.
Shayna Baszler.
It's an even better one. Yeah, I'm with you. So dollar bet.
Okay.
All
so
right.
Those are all three. If they put any of those three, if they put somebody like Candice LeRae, I'm like, no, I don't believe it. You know?
Well, nope. You know what's going to end up?
Indy maybe, but I don't think she'd do it. Indy could be a possibility.
You know what's going to? You know what's
going to? I think I would believe.
Do you know what's going to be what cost her the belt?
Dom.
No, probably, but like a 6-woman ladder match, and she's not the one that climbs up to grab it,
or a triple threat.
But I'm thinking it's going to be like a big time, like it might be 4 women, but you know how like when they do ladder matches, they always do like 6 to 8 people.
Yeah.
Reason. I don't know. All right. Yeah, so on NXT this week, the Creed brothers were officially reinstated.
Yes. Did you see Brutus, whatever his name is, rip the door off that thing? Rip the door off the cage?
I did not, but the way that you just explained it, goddamn. All right, cool.
So you didn't watch it. So the way they started the match, it's a cage match, right? So they used
we respect
the other druids, huh?
Someone on TikTok just said respect your tribal chief, so I'm sitting there one up.
They used whatever Schism calls their little followers. They jumped Brutus and they took him away and they locked the other brother in the cage and they were beating the fuck out of him. And so next thing you know, the crowd's just going crazy. And you just see one of the Schism guys fly out from the gorilla position, another one flies out from gorilla position, and here comes Brutus. And there was like 5 on him. He's like, bah, bah, bah. And he fights his way to this cage. They're trying to stop him from getting in the cage. And he goes to climb the cage, and they stomp his fingers, don't do anything like that. And then the followers come, and he fights like 8 more off. And all of a sudden, he gets up the step, and he looks, and they're laughing like, the door's locked. This bitch grabs this door, and just goes, bing. He pulls it up, and they were like, That's not the best part, Rob. He takes the door into the ring and starts beating the motherfuckers with the door.
Now,
This match was awesome.
the other thing that kind of threw me for a loop on NXT was one Trick Williams having a backstage conversation with Carmelo Hayes.
Telling he's going to turn on him.
But the question is, who's going to turn who? Because it kind of looked like Carmelo was telling Trick, I don't need you. I don't want you there. I can do this on my own.
And he's also saying, you don't think I can beat him. You don't think I can beat him. And he's like, at that one point, he's like, do you think I can beat him? And Trick's like, no, I don't think you can beat him. Because that's what I thought. And he walked away. And then Trick's like, by himself, he goes, I don't think you can beat him. I know you can beat him. But Carmelo walked away before Trick could finish his sentence. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely leading to the Shawn Michaels Diesel moment. Except, let's be real. Trick ain't Diesel.
What we don't know that because we hadn't seen Trick in singles matches enough because we said, he even though yes, Ilya carried him, Trick still carried his weight in that match.
He looked in that match, yes. He didn't.
I want to see him
look good, yes.
I want to see him, more. I want to see more. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more singles matches at him before I can say, yeah, you're right, or no, you're not.
Anything else from any of the WWE shows that we need to talk about?
I want to finish they finally did the what was it, the 4-way match to figure out who was going to face Tiffany for the belt, and it ended up being the broker lady. I can't think of her name right now.
The broker lady.
The business lady. She carries around the briefcase all the time. God, what was her name?
I don't know. Who are the other ones?
It was Gigi Dolan. It was Roxanne Perez.
Cora Jade.
Was it Cora? It might have been Cora Jade, yeah.
Might not be because she might still be recovering.
NXT. What was that?
She might still be recovering. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, whatever. I heard you the first time. I ignored you. You didn't.
I know, but like the rest of the wrestling world could not ignore it.
What was her name? Results. Now it's gonna drive me crazy till I get her fucking name.
Perez.
Still Cage. Okay, and Carmelo walks into the office. Kiana James.
Okay, gotcha.
Davenport was the other person in that match.
Oh,
Blair Davenport.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Kiana James won. And then it ended with Carmelo walking into Shawn Michaels' office saying we need to talk. So we figure out what that's going to be next week. Braun and Bond have a match coming up.
Braun? Braun Breaker.
And Braun Breaker had a nice little backstage.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Baron's going to be if Baron's going to be face now to Breaker's heel.
That's an interesting statement. I don't think that Baron Corbin has done anything that's going to lead people to want to follow him.
So they're going to be pushing Breaker as the face?
I don't know.
All right. So that's what we got for that.
All right. Let's move on to this.
What do you want to talk about?
So, YouTube and TikTok. What do you want to talk about?
I believe it would make sense to start with the pay-per-view, right? Because
have to. 81,035 paid ticket sales,
And all
a new
the
record for professional wrestling venues. And on Dynamite, by the way, and I know that we're going to talk about these, like, not necessarily.
You said it wouldn't do it.
What it wasn't just that. It was Chris Jericho actually said, and that's a shoot.
Yeah, but you didn't think that the AEW could do it.
I mean, they had 65,000 at the point that I said they couldn't do it. But here's the thing. The reason why I don't think WWE would do 81,000 in the stadium is because I don't think that they would put seats behind the stage. And AEW did. Is that fair?
Yeah, but they probably had the cubes up too, so everybody could see what was going on.
Well, they had 4 massive TV screens, which, by the way, probably impeded the actual view from people in those top tier areas. They could only watch the actual TV screens, which almost makes it not worth going to the venue. I'm not saying it makes it not worth going. I'm saying it almost makes it not worth going. Because you and I have talked about how, like, if you sit like 4th or 5th row and you got someone who's 6'5" sitting in front of you and he's standing up, you can't see what's going on. Why not just get a seat in like the 4th deck where you're paying $12 instead of $195? You know what I mean? It was massive. It was fucking massive, dude.
Yep.
They packed that place, and I watched the pre-show, and it was amazing to see what the first match was. The first match was the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships Aussie Open versus the 2 guys that were going to be in the main event, Adam Cole and MJF. And by the way, when MJF started bouncing around and saying he was going to do the kangaroo kick, that crowd fucking erupted.
And when he did it,
it was horrible. It was horrible. But he hit it. But he hit it. And you know what? In pro wrestling, if you hit that move and you know you have 80,000 people sitting there cheering it on, you ain't getting up from it. So what did they do? Double clothesline. Which, by the way, was the second worst move of the entire night.
Yes, it was.
And yet I loved every second of it. Without a doubt, loved every second of it. Immediately after that match, we got our next match, which was the only other match on the pre-show, which started with Real Glass, Cry Me a River.
What was that about? I tried to read. I think something about CM Punk was like didn't want to use Real Glass. What was that about?
It's all right. I'm going to try to explain this in a way that I feel is the most professional way to say it. A couple weeks ago, Jack Perry said in his FTW championship match that he wanted to use Real Glass. CM Punk backstage, who has some creative control over what goes on at Collision, stated, "We don't need to use Real Glass. We can figure out some other thing to do." And me personally, Tino, I'm thinking a couple things here. I'm thinking if they use Real Glass, people can get really, really hurt.
So right? Just use sugar glass like everybody else.
Correct. Second area and aspect of it is this. If you use real glass and it shatters, it's everywhere. So if Jack Perry that week that they're talking about, and I don't know which week it was, wanted to do that in the first match of the night, that could physically injure people throughout a 2-hour broadcast all night long.
Yes. Unless he used it like outside somewhere away from the ring.
And they immediately like figure, but cleanup even still, like like if you break a glass and you're walking around your kitchen with bare feet, at some
you can get
at some point you're stepping in it. Could be months later, but you're stepping in that fucker. You know what I mean? So so CM Punk, I feel in this situation, and I don't normally agree or say this, but here's the deal. I think him sitting there saying, there's no need for real glass in this moment. We can use sugar glass. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. Whatever the case might be. And Jack Perry being like, I want to use real glass. I think that that moment is like CM Punk, obviously, as the veteran, is going to get his way. Now, granted, this wasn't a match with CM Punk versus Jack Perry. But CM Punk might have been wrestling later in the night and been like, I'm not going in the ring after there's been real glass shattered.
Can't blame him.
But here's my other perspective on it. CM Punk probably was trying to look out for Perry. Hey, use sugar glass. You're going to get the same effect. People are going to cheer. And the glass is easier to clean up, whatever. Okay, whatever. Jack Perry has probably been hearing backstage, it's your time to shine. If you don't start stepping up, people are going to think that you're a hoser, that you're fake, that you're this, that you're whatever. Well, who do you believe? Do you believe CM Punk, who you're on the program that Tony Khan is completely behind, or do you believe the other guys that CM Punk has already gotten in trouble with? So I really think this was a situation where Jack Perry, trying to prove his heel persona, was like, hey, for all the marks backstage that might have heard something, tank, heel glass, cry me a river, right? Now, who ended up going through the glass? Him.
Yeah.
Now, but if you looked at him and his opponent, who looked like they went through the glass?
Hook.
Hook had like a 13-inch gash on his back and shoulder. So ultimately, CM Punk probably was right. We don't need to use real glass in this moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
The match ends. Hook ends up winning back the FTW title. Jack Perry goes to the back. And guess who's supposed to be coming out for his match next?
Punk going against Joe.
So, Cry Me a River walks past, right? And what happens there? CM Punk probably looked at him and said, do you feel better now, kid? And he said, whatever. And he threw him a little as they walked past each other. Well, here's my feelings here. You have Punk, the old man, right? Don't disrespect me, kid. I'm like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at this point. You don't disrespect me, and those that respect me get lifted up, right? One of those guys. But you have Jack Perry sitting there going, I didn't like what you had to say, and I'm just going to walk past you and I'm going to shove you. And the reason why you do that is because you got to man up. This to me is no bigger than when Goldberg and Jericho got into a fight backstage at WCW and Jericho put him in a headlock and they got broken up and Jericho got told, "You're not as big as him." That's it. Because apparently after he shoved him, Punk shoved him back, and they got into a little bit of a scuffle, and Punk put him into a headlock. Rear naked choke is actually what I heard it was, but rear naked choke, and held him there to de-escalate the situation. Now
they're both suspended through this weekend's pay-per-view. And it's in fucking Chicago.
Now here's the deal. Here's the truth behind all this. Should they be suspended? Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Why would you not suspend these guys? At the same time, if everybody agreed that you're not going to use real glass, you're not going to break real glass in anything, and then Jack Perry sat there and got in CM Punk's face after using real glass, after they said they weren't going to do it, who's really to blame? It's fucking Tony Khan that's fucking to blame, because he actually put out there a car with real glass so that Jack Perry could sit there and break real glass. And you're in a company where you say to people, "We don't give you scripts, so go out and say what you want." Who's to blame there? Not the talent. I don't blame Jack Perry for saying it, because he felt like, hey, this might be my moment to push me versus real world champion CM Punk. Because where does he go after losing the Hook? Nowhere. What's he gonna do? Become Christian's lackey like Luchasaurus again? Like, I don't blame Jack Perry for saying what he said, because he probably took it upon himself, because someone probably said, "Make your shot. Take your shot." And when doing the take your shot, he probably took a shot at CM Punk, and it took it upon the whole, like, this is what happened backstage. Except in AEW, instead of finishing it in the ring when you have real beef, they finish it in a courtroom and nobody knows what ever happened.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
So you're right. You got.
Sorry, I went on a soapbox.
Next, you had CM Punk and Samoa Joe.
Is the Samoa Joe nope the greatest move in professional wrestling history? It's pretty damn close.
It's funny as shit.
For those that don't know what the Samoa Joe nope is, it's when the other guy goes to do a top rope maneuver of some sort. And in this match, it was a tope suicida, or what used to just be called a suicide dive. A tope suicida, and Joe just walked out of the way. But Joe walking out of the way this time was so good, because after he did, he just went.
No, that's still not even the best one. Like I said, you gotta go back and watch. The best one is when fucking Gravity.
Video, by the way, there's a YouTube video of all of them.
The best one is Gravity, when Gravity goes to flip, and Joe doesn't know. He doesn't note walk, but he does the whole like Gravity does, and he's doing it out as he's moving out the way, and Gravity hits the mat. Oh God. That's the best one.
This one was really good because CM Punk, this was almost meta, okay? Because in wrestling, we joke about how outside the ring, the people are waiting to catch the other wrestler. And in this moment, Joe's looking up at CM Punk. And as CM Punk goes, well, all right, and he grabs the top rope and jumps over, Joe just gets out of the way, and CM Punk literally goes straight down to the ground, 8 feet down, and hits the floor. And then Joe literally just goes like that. And dude, I'm telling you, that to me is one of the greatest moves of all time.
I gotta go back and watch it. Like I said, I don't even know where to go. Would you just watch it on YouTube?
Well, that was just on the AEW Instagram. But here's the other thing about that move. How has nobody else decided they're going to steal that move? Because he's been doing it for 20 fucking years.
What, the Nope?
Yeah. Dude, they showed him doing it in Ring of Honor in like 2003. He did it against Brian Danielson doing a backflip, and he just let him hit the ground. And then he just looked at him. He's like that. Anyways, what else we got?
Right. The Golden Elite versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Kenosha
Takeshita.
Yeah. Which I was surprised that the Golden Elite lost.
What did I send you in a text message?
I don't remember.
I said, I think CM Punk booked this card because all 4 members of the Elite lost.
And that was the next match. I was about to say the Young Bucks and FTR, who we both just knew that the Bucks were going to win because I didn't even watch it. Why am I going to watch this match? Because we know what's going to happen, and they lost.
Yep. And apparently it was an instant classic.
Yeah.
I still don't want to mind you, but
and then Stadium Stampede. I didn't watch any of that, so I don't even know what the hell happened in it. I did see something where they took a whole bunch of skewers and stuck it in Moxley's head. I saw that.
Sue drove the minivan out to the ring again, and that's how Cassidy got the victory.
Okay. And then you did call the AEW the Women's World Championship. You did call that. I thought it was going to be Britt. You said it was going to be Paige. Saraya. I keep calling her Paige. But I saw why Tony Storm laid her mama out, and it was an accident. But it was funny because her mom played into it. Her eyes were on the back of her head, and she just kind of fell backwards. I'm like, you overdid that one, Mom.
Well, the move that I am going to mention here was, I don't even remember who it was holding Toni Storm, but Britt Baker giving her a stomp that looked like it knocked out 8 teeth. And my response to it online was, well, at least Britt Baker is a dentist, so she probably put those teeth back in for her. Because that stomp was devastating. Devastating. And if you haven't seen it, Tino,
now I need to check it out.
It was fucking brutal. All right, next up.
Coffin match. Like I said, I hadn't seen that one either. But who won that? Oh, Sting and Darby.
Sting and Darby. It looked like Swerve was going to win. He actually closed the coffin, but the coffin was still open by about this much because Sting pushed the baseball bat through it. The cool thing was, it was Joker Sting. He was wearing the red T-shirt instead of the black T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm looking at a pic now.
I love Joker Sting, man. You know what? It's my favorite Sting. I'm not gonna lie. I don't care if I get brutalized online for it or not. It's my favorite Sting.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't do it. That man's a father, McGinnis said hilariously. After Tony.
Yeah, talking about Christian Cage. Because it was right after Tony Schiavone had said, that man kicked his kid out of the and he goes, don't do it to that man, he's a father.
Jericho and Ospreay.
This led to Wednesday night, by the way, which was awesome. Because it was a big no-sell. The right person went over. I don't think. I think Jericho knows his career's coming to an end. He might not get a second chance to wrestle Ospreay. He might if Ospreay signs with AEW. But overall, I think that the right man went over.
Okay. Trio. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say let's just go ahead and talk about like the moment on Wednesday night from it, because it just makes sense to go right into it. Jericho was upset with the way he handled Sammy Guevara at the end of the match, pushing him away. So he asked him to come out to the ring, and he said, "Hey, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have blamed you." And then he kept taking little jabs at the whole situation, basically being like, if you'd hit him harder with the baseball bat, maybe I would have won the match. And of course, Sammy got a little upset about that, and he's like, well, Chris, if you had just been more of a man, maybe you would have won the match. And then, but before it all came down, they decided none of what they were complaining about mattered. They're going to join up as Le Sex Gods and go after the AEW Tag Team Championships. So, okay, now we can go back to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, the trios match.
Something you want to say about that?
No. Because I'm looking at the time. I'm like, we got trios match. The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn against the House of Black.
At least you didn't call them that other name tonight.
Badass.
No. When you called the House of Black the other name last week, and I was like, you might get us canceled.
I forgot what it was now, but okay.
Never mind. It was hilarious last week.
I forgot it. You have to remind me later. But all right. So they won.
Yeah, they did. And then this is another thing that on Dynamite they decided to really. I
like those new belts.
So that's what I was talking. I was trying to lead to it, but yeah, they gave them the opportunity to have brand new belts. Now, first of all, they were talking about Billy Gunn's outfit, because Billy Gunn was wearing a pink romper with scissors.
That's hilarious. And a purple bow tie.
And he wasn't like him, and not Matt, but the other one. Who's the other one?
Bowens, Anthony Bowens.
Yeah, Anthony Bowens. We're both wearing purple bow ties. And then of course they said we're having a ribbon cutting ceremony. They cut the ribbon, but even there, like Bowens got a small pair of scissors, and Billy Gunn's like, no, that's a little one. let me pull out my really big one. And he pulls out this thing of like Brutus the Barber Beefcake shears.
When they did the belts and they saw the belts, how they clasped together like scissors. Now myself.
And all of a sudden, like the entire Chicago crowd started yelling, "Scissor me, daddy!" But the belts have like this weird like opening so they can sit there and have them do that, which was awesome. But they also called the place a certain name now, didn't they? They called Chicago the House of Ass.
Yeah.
That would just shut Tino up, folks.
Yeah, I was like, eh.
Anyway.
All right. And then I think that led to the main event.
Yes.
Adam Cole and MJF. So like I said, you've seen more of these than I have. So I haven't seen any of it. So that's why I'm leaning on you to what happened.
So the Adam Cole versus MJF match was a solid, a really good main event match. Obviously, the two of them had already wrestled earlier in the night. MJF hit the kangaroo kick. They hit the double clothesline to win the ROH tag team titles. Roderick Strong came down about 3/4 of the way through the match and tossed Adam Cole the title, saying use it to hit him. The referee was down. Adam Cole threw the belt out of the ring and started yelling at Roderick Strong, and then got rolled up 1, 2, 3. So the biggest wrestling match of all time, based on paid people, ended on a schoolgirl.
Okay.
At the same time, Adam Cole sat in the corner. MJF actually looked at him, threw the belt at him, and said, "Is this what you want? You can have it if you really want it, blah, blah, blah." Adam Cole said, "No, you want it fair and square," handed it back to him. MJF held the belt up. Adam Cole held his hand up, and they went out as better than you, baby. What was interesting about it wasn't even necessarily what happened in the match, because having MJF continue to be the world champion makes sense. But after the match, backstage, they did a little segment. They showed it on AEW Dynamite where MJF was like, "I'm so fucking tired, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
Adam Cole sat there and he said, "Well, that's cool. You get this week off. I know that your neck's hurting. I know that your back's hurting. But hey, we've got to defend the Ring of Honor tag team titles at All In or All Out." And MJF's like, "What? I can't deal with this, man. Like I've worked more in the last 3 weeks than I have in the last 3 years, and it's all because of you." But they at All Out, they're not even the main event. They're in the middle of the card for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. And apparently the All Out card has been completely fucked up because of the CM Punk situation. Because originally the thought was that CM Punk versus Ricky Starks for the real world title was going to be the main event. But now it looks like they're trying to talk Ricky the Dragon Steamboat into a strap match with Ricky Starks. And I don't know about you, Tino. I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to the thoughts of that match, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat has already had a stroke. He looks great. He can move. He had matches with Jericho about 7 years ago. I don't want to see Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in a wrestling ring trying to perform at a high level.
No.
Now, if it's a swerve where he sits there and he says, I want a strap match. I want it against the Dragon. I want this. And the Dragon comes out and goes, I'm not doing it, but this guy might. And all of a sudden you have Dax Harwood or somebody else say that they're going to take it. It's fine, even though Dax Harwood's in an 8-man match at All In or All Out already. Like, I really don't like the 2 weeks in a row pay-per-view bullshit, by the way. I think that is really just a billionaire saying, let me collect all this money from these assholes.
I think he knew that a lot of people probably couldn't, because the All Out or whatever, All In was the middle of the day. I think he's trying to get one. I don't know. That's something I can think of.
I don't think so, dude. So his own personal perspective on it is that it was a British bank holiday, which means nobody works on Monday. And then it's an American bank holiday, which means nobody works on Monday. So that's why he's got Sunday and Sunday in a row. And he actually said he wants to start doing this annually.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, he's really just sitting there saying, hey, assholes, you're giving me at least $100.
Okay.
Anyways. Couple other things when it comes to, we already talked a little bit about the Chris Jericho thing on Dynamite. Obviously, I also just mentioned that you've got FTR and the Young Bucks. They finally did make up and actually said, okay, hey, we're sorry for giving you a little bit of lip and blah, 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 and blowing you off for the handshake. But now they're going to wrestle the Golden Elite on, or not Golden Elite, but the Bullet Club Gold on Sunday.
This was funny to me on the. I just got a chuckle out of it. Toni Storm's out of her damn mind.
I love her, man.
She's like, I can't trust anybody. I can't trust Saraya. And she's walking out, and then you knew it was going to happen. She goes, and I can't trust these shoes. And she tore it, and goes, oh my God.
That's at least the third week in a row she has thrown shoes. And this is the first time she did it at Renee. And Renee actually said something afterwards. She's like, what in the hell?
Oh,
because the other girls are just like, because the first girl, Toni Storm, was like, I don't even know who she was. Get her out of here. And then the second one, she's like, do you even know who that first girl was? You need to get her out of here. And then the third one is Renee. And she's like, well, I can't say that to Renee, but I could throw a shoe. I fucking love the throwing of the shoe.
Yeah. That's what I got. I'm out.
Well, we didn't talk about the main event of Dynamite or the beginning of Dynamite. Yeah. Dynamite opened with Moxley versus Commander. There was also a match that was Eddie Kingston versus Wheeler Yuta. So the Blackpool Combat Club was very prominent on Dynamite. And this is after the Blackpool Combat Club lost at All In. Where this is important is that, by the way, it's the first match I've seen Jon Moxley not bleed.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Did you hear that? Did you even hear your own self? You're like, ah.
Oh, yeah.
But Jon Moxley did not bleed, and he looked disappointed after winning the match. Mind you. Wheeler Yuta lost to Eddie Kingston, and after he lost, which, by the way, was a very good Eddie Kingston match, even though Eddie Kingston Eddie Kingston looks worse walking down to the ring than Sting. But after the match, Claudio hops over the guardrail, doesn't look at Eddie Kingston at all, and grabs Wheeler Yuta and walks him up the ramp. Okay? So these are important storyline elements, by the way, because obviously Eddie Kingston wants Claudio, and Claudio won't look at him. Finally, we get the main event of the night, and there are other matches that happened. I don't remember what they are, but the main event of the night is Orange Cassidy versus Penta. Great match. There was Penta's finisher outside the ring on the like the ropes are there, and then there's the edge,
The apron,
and he hit Orange Cassidy with his finisher to where I thought he broke Orange Cassidy's neck. I'm not playing. I don't know how he tucked. I don't know what the hell he did to prevent it from being something else. But I thought he broke Orange Cassidy's neck. And then even the way that Orange Cassidy rolled into the ring, got pinned, 1-2, kicked out. Penta was like, oh, no. So he did the same move again, which is basically a package fucking pedigree pile driver. Like, I don't even know what you call it. And he hit him again with it, and Cassidy kicked out after 2. And while Penta was like, what? Are you kidding me? He got rolled up for a 1-2-3. And I don't know how, and in fact, I don't know how Cassidy walked out of the ring, because when Cassidy got up, it's the first time he's ever asked for a microphone. And not only did he ask for a microphone, Tino, he said, get me a chair.
Yep.
And he sat in a chair because he couldn't stand, and sat there and told Jon Moxley what to expect. And how he said,
he stood up towards the end of the promo. He did finally stand, but yeah, he sat most of that promo.
By the way, it was a well done promo, except for one. When he said, I will always be the international champion. And the reason why is because at some point you're going to lose. You will not.
Yeah, but they always say that. Look at what was A-Town was calling himself the forever champion. I mean, I think that's just something. But I do like the way he ended. He goes, because I'm Orange Cassidy and I don't have a catchphrase. I loved it.
Yes, absolutely. I did love that moment when him saying, I'm Orange Cassidy and I don't have a catchphrase.
Just threw the mic down.
It was gold. And you know what? I think we need more of that from him, where he ends it with, I'm Orange Cassidy and I don't have a catchphrase. Because suddenly it'll be on a shirt, I'm Orange Cassidy and I don't have a
catchphrase. That'll be his catchphrase, ironically.
And that's the way it's supposed to be, right? Tino, that's literally this week in wrestling. We've got one of the things coming up, by the way, is Impact 1000. What is that?
Somebody, hold on, let me see if I can. Somebody gave me this. I love this thing.
What is it?
I got it. So it's a bobblehead, but it's Jam Master Jay from Run DMC, and it's little Jam Master Jay on the turntable.
Nice.
Now, and I love this. It sits on my desk right here. I'm at work. I just like it. It's cool.
That is really cool. But we do have Impact 1000 coming up, and I don't know if you've heard, but
Dudley's
Team 3D,
the damn Dudleys,
for the first time in 6 years, will be back in the ring together.
Tonight?
It might have been tonight. As well as Gail Kim and Awesome Kong will be in the ring fighting together.
Oh, shit.
Against some knockout tag team. Pretty awesome here. Think about that. Raw hit 3,000, right? And they've been on since like 1991. And now Impact has hit 1,000 episodes. And the reason why I say that this is exciting and this is important is because AEW just hit 200 episodes.
Yeah.
So they have another 8 years
Yeah.
to go to hit that. Pretty freaking nuts.
Yeah.
All right, Tino. Why don't you do what you do, sir?
All right. You can catch him on the Twitter at Podcheck. You can catch me HoodieFan91. You can catch me on Snapchat. I'm SC Tino. Also on the threads is SC Tino. On Snapchat and threads, he would be Rob Potcheck or Rob Potsy Potcheck. I always get them confused. On the Twitter, which is now X, you can find us. We're Potsy and Tino. Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. We're here each and every week right here on the Pots and Pans Network. We want you to please hit that like button, subscribe, buy our shit.
There is 1 week that we're not going to be here.
Not next week, but the week after.
Oh, the date?
Yes, it is. Just set it up. It is the 14th.
September 14th. We will not be. Well, Tino will not be here. There is a possibility that I may try to continue this constant stream going on. Anyways, our theme always is by Adam's House Cat. It's called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents.
99.
We are brought to you by the Pots and Pans Network. And folks, we want to say thank you so much for paying attention, checking us out, giving us a couple of those lightning bolts, and we'll see you next time.
Peace. Oh, yeah. Dig it.